Welcome to Know Something. And in this special video, we have a special guest and who got selected in Amazon, and he is from VNR Institute, Hyderabad. So we're gonna have an interview with him, and he gonna share his experience and his strategies on how to crack an Amazon interview. So on behalf of Know Something, I welcome Manik, and I hope it would be an useful one to all the engineers. Hi Manik, welcome to Know Something.
Hey Vinod, how are you?
Fine man, how are you?
I'm good.
So basically, can you give a brief intro about yourself, where you are from, where did you study, and what is your passion to join Amazon?
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Manik. I'm a final year student at VNR VJIT, Hyderabad. My major is computer science. I prepared for IIT actually, but due to various reasons and limitations of seats, I couldn't get into IIT. But after that, my dream was why not, whatever the college I am into, why not see all the resources which we have here and then explore what we can do when we are here. So for that, in first year I actually went to IIT Hyderabad in Hyderabad, and there was an IIT, and I asked him. So I told him, yeah, I wanted to be an IITian, but I am not. And so now what am I supposed to do so that I can actually be where you are? So the advice which he gave me was, bro, do one thing, explore all the resources of your college and use it to the best of your capabilities. So that's where I started. My main interest is also in artificial intelligence. I am an artificial intelligence researcher, and I have published research papers on artificial intelligence. I work along with my PhD faculties also in their PhD projects. So yeah, that's my interest where I wanted to go, particularly artificial intelligence.
That is really inspiring, Manik. So when you said like you chose VNR Institute and you did compromise on your college, and but you didn't compromise on your course. Are you very much focused on computer science? If it is yes, can you elaborate what is the reason?
Yes, actually, there was one thing when I was in my ninth class. I was in CBSE board. So my brother asked me why shouldn't I create a website? So when I started doing that, I got interested in HTML and CSS and all that web development. So I created a website for my dad's shop. After that, it was not deployed anyway. It was a test website, but I tried to use all kind of facilities provided by HTML. After that, in 10th class, my brother actually asked me, why don't you create an Android app for his college? His college is Malareddy Institute of Technology. I really did not know anything about Android. Believe me, I did not even know Java, C, C++. I did not know programming apart from HTML. So I explored and I started using Android Studio. After that, I came to know that we have to actually use Java. We should know Java. So he got me a book for Java. I learned Java in my 10th, and after that I started creating Android apps. They were not, that they were actually fine compared to the 10th class student. So yeah, that's where I started. That computer science came into my mind. Also, my brother is also a computer science engineer, so that also kind of gave me a little attention that computer science is a good branch, and I was working in that, so I got attached to it.
It is really inspiring, Manik. So, if any of our viewers who is studying in college or who is studying in school, this story could really inspire them. They can, even if they don't know any knowledge on programming skill, I think they can start learning and they can get a good job in tier one companies. It's an inspiring answer from you, Manik. So, basically, what is you got placed in Amazon now. So, what is your short term goal?
So I would say that when I was in third year, I mean, I knew that Amazon comes to our college, Microsoft, JPMC, these big companies come to our college for placements. Uh, I was kind of interested in getting into Amazon because it's a big multinational company, and over that, to frankly speaking, it was to improve the financial situation of my family. That was the goal, that somehow I have to do that. And to do that, I was also good in programming, so I had means I did invest in myself. So when it came to improve the financial situation of my family, I was capable. I prepared for Amazon and I got selected into it.
Great, man. So Is Amazon is your first interview? As you said, many companies come to your college. Strategically, you said because many people go for mock interviews with other companies as well, right? So, did you set Amazon as a first interview and cleared it?
So no, before Amazon, I had JPMC, JP Morgan. Uh, I was kind of I was kind of not inclined to that company, I would say, and Amazon was always in my mind that either Amazon or Microsoft, I'll get into any one of them. So yeah, it was my second interview actually after JPMC. JPMC, I did not get into JPMC. I'll be frank, but in Amazon, I prepared for it. I prepared and I got it.
In your engineering, have you done any projects or internship, and that helps you for your Amazon interview? Did you do any projects or internship?
Yes, I have actually done a lot of projects and a lot of internships. And before saying anything, I would say that to the viewers, those who are hearing this, to the students that do not run after internships, run after investing in yourself. Internships, jobs, everything will come to you. So now moving on, I would say about my projects. So as I said that I was always interested in IIT and not getting into it, somewhere it used to touch me in my heart every time. So I always used to think, let's just run out of the college. But somehow I got that chance, but officially. So in first year I prepared, I used to study in the college. In second year I actually started doing my projects because I was interested in Android apps. So I created an Android app for my college with which the students can actually see their live attendance. So instead of month-wise attendance, which we used to see, we can actually see our live attendance, that too subject-wise. So students can actually focus on each of their subjects attendance. That was particularly for me because I had really less attendance, but then my whole class used it. So yeah, that was one project which I did. That was first Android app. After that, my college hosts an open house projects where we showcase our projects. So in my 1-2 ending, I mean 2-1 starting, the director of my college, he came and he said, he was saying something like, I need projects from artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. He did not use the word deep learning, but he said machine learning. I did not know anything about machine learning, but I knew the word which he said. So I came home and I started searching about machine learning. Believe me, my first idea was we have to learn assembly language, zeros and ones. Somehow we have to adjust them and then there will be an AI which will be created. So I got interested into artificial intelligence. Slowly I moved into it, and then I did a project on breast cancer detection through images. So we take the image of the tissue from the biopsy report of a breast, and then we can actually use convolutional neural networks to classify whether a person has kind of a cancer or not. It is both for men and women. Breast cancer can be there for both. So because in India we have almost 50% of the women after 50 years of age, those who face this issue. So it's better that we recognize it in the first level itself. So this was my second project which I did. There was another project also. Now there could be a point when we do something and the student thinks that why am I doing something, because there he cannot see the future. So the time I did attendance app, I couldn't see the future because it was not deployed to the whole college. It was just limited to my class, and that too after around 4 months they also kind of stopped using it because I stopped updating it. Now we may think that there was no future to it, but just because of this project I got a project from University of Hyderabad. They wanted me to develop an Android app for their project because they knew that I know how to develop Android apps, and that project worth actually 1.5 crores, which was funded by central government. So that's how actually things goes on. You may think that something is not useful, but whatever we do, everything is useful in life if we do it consciously.
That is really inspiring, man. Your projects are really inspiring. So I think you missed about your supercomputer project and research work. So can you explain that as well?
Yeah. So see, that's what I like in 1-2 when I heard my director saying that I want to do artificial, that he wants artificial intelligence projects. I started learning artificial intelligence. There were obviously no future. I was thinking that I would do something. But afterwards, slowly people started approaching me because they wanted to get their AI projects done. So I worked on one of the PhD projects with my faculty. That was a PhD project, and I was kind of helping her in that. So we needed computation power, and our college did not have that much computation power. So what we did is we contacted Bennett University in Noida, and they said that all right, you guys can come here and then you can work on your projects. So we went there. I was there for a month, and we were using the NVIDIA DGX supercomputer. That was great actually. I never in my life used supercomputer, and using it was really fantastic. And that was the first supercomputer which a private university had in India. So I was obviously feeling happy. Apart from after that was done, we came back to Hyderabad, and she started working on her PhD project again. So yeah, this was my, it was great actually, that supercomputer experience.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It was an awesome experience. Thank you. And when you say all about your projects, the bread and butter is your coding skills. Where did you learn those coding skills?
So in my first year, my professor started teaching me C, and although I knew little of Java because I read Java in my 10th class, but believe me, it was not something I can say that I know Java. It was not like that. When I started learning it, I was like, the sentence was written A equals to A plus 10. And my reaction was, all right, I will cancel A from both sides. And now what is left? 0 equals to 10. How is this possible? So that was way back in my 10th class. But afterwards, I figured it out, and then preparing 2 years for IIT. After that, when in my first year, when professor started teaching C, I had kind of an inherited confidence that I know programming, because no one else knew programming and I knew a little bits and pieces of it. So I got that confidence for no reason actually. And just because of that no reason confidence, I started doing programming, and I was performing really great, I should say, in the class. And seeing me, there are many of my friends who actually got interested into programming. And then there were my seniors who told us about competitive coding. So we started using CodeChef, and with CodeChef we started solving the problems. And just in that time, it was like spending 12 hours, 15 hours of the day coding. If you're sleeping, you suddenly get an idea that this must be the solution. That's how it happened with me at once. That was the situation. My dad was like, all right, you were sleeping and you just woke up and you think that's the solution. What is that? So it's actually great. Okay, I'll say how did I learn coding. I used CodeChef and HackerEarth, and Geek for Geeks. These are the places where you can go and actually learn programming. I would say keep the theory and the practice simultaneously. So keep doing both of them. So the idea is learn by doing it. You do it, you don't get it, you go back, you find the concept which you have to learn, you come back, you attempt the problem again, you may not get it again, find the issue, come back, push the code. That green tick would be really satisfying.
Thanks, Manik. So after joining the VNR Institute, you know that Microsoft, Amazon, and premier companies come to your college. So when did you start preparing for Amazon, and how was that journey?
So I would say, believe me, guys, if I say when did I start preparing for Amazon, it was literally 6 days before I came to know that Amazon is going to come to the college. Now people may think that are 6 days enough to prepare for Amazon? No, they are not actually. But the time which I invested in myself in the past 3 years, that actually helped me, because after coding, I almost left coding for 1.5 years because I was into artificial intelligence completely. So I just had to recall those concepts which I learned, and maybe there were some concepts which I did not know and I learned. So it literally took me 6 days. But the time which I spent, that knowing how to solve a problem and how to approach a problem, that actually helped me in just getting everything in 6 days. Don't think that 6 days would be enough for Amazon. No, keep investing time in yourself. Keep doing all kinds of problems, and when you get to a particular company, few days before that, probably 10 or 15, 20 days before, you start particularly preparing for that company. Otherwise, do not think about the company. You should know that you have to get into a company, but better invest in yourself. You should know that you have to learn it. So learn it because you want to learn it, not because you want to get into a company. That would be great. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, Manik. Your hard work pays you now. So basically,
Yeah.
when you sit with Amazon, right? How many rounds of interview you had, and can you share some interview questions which are expected questions when you sit for Amazon?
Yeah, so there were 3 rounds I had. First one was online round, and this was a round which I did when I was in Noida in the Bennett University itself, while I was working on the PhD project. So after that, I came here to Hyderabad, and my first round was quite simple. That was coding. It was mostly based on databases and data structures and algorithms. Just that was enough. They did not ask me any questions related to networking or operating systems. I knew about them though. So what I would say in the online round, it was kind of all subjects were there and all questions were there. There were aptitude questions. There were a lot of questions related to big data and programming questions were there. Particularly, there was questions related to Python. Java was not there in that, but Python questions were there. And also, this was because the case that my internship role was data engineer intern. So they hired me as a data engineer, and so there were a lot of questions from data engineering, like databases. How do you design database? The latency and all that. How do you handle big data, Spark, Hadoop? All these questions were there. But if you are hired for a software engineering intern, I would say that there will be a lot of questions, particularly like coding questions will be there, where you have to code and you have to actually solve the problem. There could be 2 to 3 problems. So yeah, they won't be really like you have to use segment trees or something. They would be basic problems.
When you say you worked as a data engineer for your internship, so did you work on any particular product of Amazon? For example, Amazon has many products, right? So Alexa, Amazon
Yeah.
e-commerce. So they have many products. So in which particular product you worked on your internship, and how was
So
your learning on that internship?
my team works with a lot of data, and we actually help Amazon in filing the tax audits reports and like whatever when when a country of a particular when the government of a particular country asks about the audit, like they want to know what all has been purchased by Amazon by their citizens. So we do an audit of that, and then we supply it to the government. So my task was to actually create a software which can automate all this, because there are a lot of times when we have multiple databases from multiple types of sources, and we need to move data from one to another. So manually moving data was really hectic. So I worked on a project called Daxter, where I created a UI. I worked on the backend part particularly, and we created a UI with which we can actually automate all that system, and it would be really minimalistic. We have to just say the source name, destination name, and the data, what the SQL query, and everything would be done. Everything would be automated. So that was one particular project on which I worked.
So it's been 4 years of college studies, right? And after that, you applied for Amazon and you got the offer. So at that time, what was your expression and how did you feel that?
It was great, I would say, because there are many students in India who actually try to financially handle family situations. So when you are able to do that and you become the pillar of the family, it feels great. The time I got the offer from Amazon 1 year back, I called my mom, dad, and my brothers, and I told them that this is what has happened to me, and they did not believe for once. But afterward, I showed them the offer letter, and they were very happy. I mean, I cannot actually express that feeling, how great I felt that time.
So how was your internship experience? So
In terms, there are many factors. So in terms of learning rate, learning curve, if I say how much I learned, I mean, I guess if we would go to any company, because I'm a fresher, the learning curve would be really steep. So I can say 9. Uh, but in terms of work-life balance, I would say Amazon kind of have means you get to work. You have a lot of work to do. So that's very clear everywhere. In Amazon, you have a lot of work to do. So I would say you should know how to actually manage your time and work, so that and and a voice to speak for yourself, that uh, that how you are supposed to manage everything, and maybe to your managers if you are not feeling fine, something like that. But I would say 7 for work-life balance.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So you got the offer now. So it's time to advise your juniors. So what is your advice to the current final year students or the third year students who is preparing for Amazon? So what topic you would recommend them to study, and what programming websites or any code chef or hacker? So what would you recommend them to achieve, or to sit, or to prepare for Amazon interview?
So for the entire world, I would say first, for entire world, whichever student wants to get into Amazon, I would say be great, be fine with your data structures and algorithms. That is the main step if you want to get into SDD role. So be fine with your data structures, algorithms like stacks, queues, linked list, trees. Know the theory perfectly, and be good with databases and data designing techniques, and what are all the theory involved in that. SQL queries, like particular part of SQL queries could be joins, where they may ask you questions if you are hired as a data engineer intern. So, and as a software developer intern, if you are hired, you can focus on your data structures, algorithms, and programming skills. That would be fine. Websites which I would recommend, I would say that do not make yourself to enter into multiple websites and then do nothing. Like if you register yourself into 20 websites and you do not do anything, I would say stick yourself to 1 or 2 websites, and then and then follow them for a long time. Do not jump from here to there consecutively. So you can actually use Code Forces and CodeChef and HackerEarth. HackerEarth is actually good for learning, and Geek for Geeks is also really good for learning. So you can use these two for learning, and for coding particularly, you can use CodeChef and Code Forces. Code Forces, people say a little more popular. I personally did not use Code Forces, but Code Forces I have seen it, and Code Forces also have great questions. So CodeChef, Code Forces for programming you can use.
That's good. I forgot to ask this question. Amazon values star method approach, right? How would you answer to a question in a star method approach?
Yes. So STAR method is basically situation, task, action, and result. So in Amazon, in anywhere actually, the way you should speak is you should be clear, concise, and crisp without actually moving the story from here to there. In STAR method, you define the situation first. So what was the situation because of which you have to actually do something? So then that comes the task. So what you have to do then to achieve that result, to achieve that task, the project on which you will work. So start, situation, task, and action. Action comes what all you have done, explode in terms of statistics. So in terms of numbers, you are supposed to speak how well did you do. Like suppose you are creating an API, so what was the latency, what are all the the frameworks you used. These are the things which you should focus on, and then comes the result, a final part where you should speak how it impacted the company, or maybe whatever you were working on, or you particularly. So that's how star methodology works. So whenever an interview interviews you from Amazon, they particularly focus on star, because they actually check whether the student can divide these parts, their project into these 4 parts, and then kind of tell about only the important concepts and the techniques which they use. I would also say one more thing, particularly for Amazon, if you are interviewing, or you're giving the interview. So always be aware of the 14 leadership principles. So whenever you speak 14 leadership principles of Amazon. So whenever you speak, you are supposed to use those leadership principles in whatever you are saying. Like suppose you have actually explored a lot of frameworks, and then you wanted to create the API. Like suppose REST, Coral, RPC, there are a lot of frameworks, and then you chose one. So you are supposed to say, I learned and explored, and I dove deep into these kind of technologies, because learn and explore is a leadership principle of Amazon. Dive deep is a leadership principle of Amazon. So when you speak, you're supposed to use these terms, and the interviewer will be really impressed because they will know that you actually have explored about Amazon before coming to the interview. I don't say that if you don't use all this, then it would not be great. It would be still great because your work will speak. But if you know this, the interviewer, you will have an edge over others. Obviously, these all leadership principles will also only work when you have the work or the stuff with you, which you have done, probably projects or the knowledge you have.
That's a very good suggestion to the juniors, man. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Manik. So when, by the way, when are you joining Amazon?
I have joined Amazon on this 27th July. So it's been 5 days now. I guess it's 31st. So yeah, I have joined as a software development engineer, and I am in the first week. Actually, we have a lot of other work to do, like onboarding and all that. So I am also kind of busy with that.
So on behalf of the viewers, I congratulate and I convey my regards to you. Best of luck, man. So to conclude, this is the last question. So what would be your suggestion to the current final year students in this pandemic situation, because they don't have classes, it is running online. So it is specifically new to everyone, right? So in this pandemic situation, do you have any special message to convey to your juniors?
When this pandemic is over, like the companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, I did not hear that they have cancelled the job offers for someone, because even I have joined in pandemic. But there are companies who have cancelled job offers, and I know how it feels. I mean, uh, first having that hope, and then you just lose it. It feels bad. So I would say it might have happened to a lot of people. If you are an experienced person who have lost the job, I would say that be on LinkedIn, connect to the people. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn. I see the post where they have lost the job, and there are a lot of people who support them by liking and commenting, so that the reach of that post increases, and then they get the offer because they have done the work, they have the experience. For the freshers, I would say keep learning. Do not worry, because this is particularly for India. Do not worry, because after the pandemic is over, I guess we have a great world to see, particularly in India. And for the entire world, just life doesn't end. You just keep worrying. You will definitely, you just keep working on yourself. You will definitely get some other job. You will definitely land up there. Be confident in yourself, and yeah, keep working on yourself. Do not worry much. I would say that. Just enjoy life.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your valuable advice. Learning is the most important investment for a student, actually. You keep on learning, and someday, sure, you will be placed in a very good company. And with all, I thank again Manik on behalf of viewers. I'm really very thankful to take an interview. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Manik. And we wish you all the best for your wonderful career.
Yeah. Thank you, Vinod. Thank you.